Peace. This is Brother High Tim with the Self Mastery Coaching Session. Today we're going to start with a proverb, and this proverb sparked a lot of thought in me because, I work with these proverbs on a daily basis, and I don't just send them out. I'm trying to look for the message that's in them, and then I want to turn around and share the message. Hence, you have the Self Mastery Coaching Session. So, the proverb that I want to cover today is by Aristotle, and it states, "Hope is a dream of a waking man." And this proverb really came alive for me because I was walking and thinking and also talking to different people. I had the opportunity to share this proverb with one of my young men today. And I, I told him the proverb. I said, "Hope is a dream of a waking man." I asked him, did he understand? He didn't understand. I said, "Do you know the difference between a person that is awake and a person asleep?" He said, "Well, yeah. A person asleep, body is resting." I said, "What else?" He said, "The mind is resting." I said, "That's good. So would you say they're unconscious?" He said, "Yes, I would say they're unconscious." So what so I said, what this proverb is telling us is that people that are unconscious don't have hope. It's the people that are becoming conscious that start developing hope. So he got quiet. So I went a little bit farther and I said, because I've been looking up hope all day. And one of the strange things that I found was that when I looked up hope, I found a term, or I found a statement from Dante's Inferno, where Dante was walking into hell, and as he crossed the gates of hell, there was a quote that said, "Let all who enter here abandon all hope." And I said, wow. So could unconsciousness be linked with hell? So I asked this young, I said this to the young man. I said, um, there's this quote that I want to share with you, and I shared the quote from Dante's. So he looked at me and he said, "So what you're saying is that I'm unconscious and I'm living in hell?" I said, "Well, no, bro, I'm not saying that." But I had to think about what he meant. I said, "Why is it that you don't have hope?" Because obviously, we started talking about hope. He said, "Well, I don't have hope because there's so much shit going on around me." So I told him this story. And this is a story that I want to share with you in the self-mastery moment. Because remember, we use stories as one of our tools. This is a personal story and it's based on truth. So I used to work in prisons, and I used to go to prisons on a weekly basis. So I used to drive through the country a lot. And it was one farmer's market that I used to always stop at. And one day I had an opportunity to speak with the owner. And I found out by talking to this owner, he ended up telling me his life story. So he used to be a CEO in Columbus, and he decided that he needed to get away because he was surrounded by so much madness that he was getting sick. His family was falling apart. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't manage his life, let alone the business anymore. So one day he came home, and it just so happened that Green Acres was on TV. And this man figured he had money, so he was going to live the country life. He was going to go buy a farm. And he bought the farm and he struggled at first. But eventually he started learning the system. And he said, young man, life is like plants. Like, for example, when I grew my business, I grew the business from 100 people to 500 people. And it grew in stages just like plants. But one thing that all plants need is they need nutrition. So he looked at me and he said, "Look, the secret to life is this. And I want you to understand this. And I'm going to be quite frank with you." He pointed to a pile, and I looked at it, and we walked towards it, and I smelled it. He said, "Do you know what this is?" I said, "Well, sir, this looked like a pile of shit." He said, "Well, to you, it's a pile of shit, but I see fertilizer." And I said, "Well, okay." He said, "No, you're not understanding my point." He says, "Where you see shit, I see fertilizer." Now, when I applied that philosophy to my life got better. My health started to get better. My relationship with my wife and my children started to get better because I started to understand that problems are nothing but fertilizer. But most of the time, we so busy looking at it and calling it shit that we don't see what it's useful for. He said it's through the problems that we become better and we become stronger. So when I look at shit, I see fertilizer. When I look at problems, I see opportunities. So I told this young man this, and hopefully he got it. And I'm praying that maybe somebody out there may have got the message that's in there for you. So this has been our Tim with the Self Mastery coaching session, and I hope you enjoy this. And with that, I say peace.